You guys, welcome to number 6 of the Derby Crime of Life, and to start off this episode, we're currently in the middle of the table, sandwiched between Arsenal and Manchester City, but obviously it's very early on. There's still another 30 odd games left of the season, so there's not much point in looking at the table at the moment. We have got the game against West Ham coming up in this episode. I might be able to get a few fixtures done in this episode, maybe get it up to that Leeds game, or we'll have to end it just before that Leeds game, and yeah, then we'll be very close to the January transfer window. So we did sell Burnley. So we've got a bit of money in the bank, and obviously I'm not 100% sure what we actually need. If we're doing this well, what do we actually need to sign? That's the problem. Maybe I'll give Solanke a go from the start in this episode. Obviously he's 4 ratings higher than Martin. Thorne did basically picked up too many yellow cards, and now he's going to be suspended for the next game against West Ham. Nothing too major though, as we have got many central midfielders. I'm tempted to put Huddleston in. He is very good for one game, but then I won't be able to play him for the next 2. 30 stamina now. I think he started on 39, so he's gone down 9 stamina in a matter of a year. So it's really frustrating because he is a really good player. It's just unfortunate that the stamina just isn't good enough. So let's go into the game against West Ham though. It is at home. We seem to be quite good at home at the moment. I don't think we've actually lost a game at home. Obviously we're going to have to replace Thorne from the lineup, and yeah, it'd be interesting to see what West Ham's lineup is. Looking at the West Ham lineup then for today's game, unfortunately I can't actually show you the actual before game highlight where they show the team walk out and stuff like that, because you get a copyright claim from the FA. I did actually mention this a while ago. I did it for the first, what was it, 3 or 4 episodes. We got to episode 4, got the claim on that one. So the 3 episodes before that I did it in was no problem at all. It's a little bit strange, but I'm just going to, just so the video doesn't get removed in the future, basically all I have to do is remove that little 20-second clip and the video's perfectly fine. So, a little bit frustrating, but it's one of those things. It just means you have to read the lineup from here. It's not the best looking West Ham team, in fairness. There's Snodgrass on the right, Adrian in goal, Noble and Obiang, but other than that, there's Masiaku and Byron, but it's not an amazing team. There's a lot of youngsters in there, and we probably, at home, should get the win. Ledley driving it forwards. It's probably one of the last attacks of this first half. It's gone into Vidra now. Just waiting for the run to Simon. Now into Lawrence with the shot. He's got it off, and it's just wide of the post. Could have really done with the keeper getting a touch on that and potentially gotten the rebound in. But it was a nice layoff from Martin. A bit too wide, though, for Lawrence to really get a good chance. Snodgrass going around the man. It's gone into the near post, and it's through Carson's leg to make it 1-0. It's from the throw in, a little pass inside. It's gone into Obiang, who finds the back of the net. Again, it goes through Carson's legs. I don't know if you remember the last episode against Swansea. Same thing happened. It went into the near post, and again, it's gone through the keeper's legs. Sesu and Cambo not quite doing the best of jobs. He could have just done. I probably could have just done with jockeying him with there. Jared Ledley, unfortunately, wrong side of Obiang, and it's in the back of the net. I think I will make my changes now, in fairness, because Martin up front just, I don't know, he is a bit isolated at times. We do need a bit more pace as well. So the goal scorer has just gone off. Obiang's been subbed off for Van der Beek. I think he's a centre-back as well, but obviously we've just made our changes. But that's really strange. They've just scored, and they took him off.
Crafting the through pass. It should be. Super goal. It's a terrific goal at a terrific time, and it should seal the win.
Here we are then against Crystal Palace. I hope it is a bit of a stronger team, because obviously West Ham, the problem is they played a really weak team for the first like 60 minutes, then they subbed on some great players and pretty much won the game. But looking at their team, they've got the 5 at the back, so that's probably what, it probably is a good decision that we did put Solanke in, because Martin really does struggle against the 5 at the back. They've got Christian Benteke up front, Townsend, Miljovic, and Loftus-Cheek and Assad in the midfield. Van Aanholt, Riedewald, Tompkins, Dan and Yanmat in the defence, and Hennessy in goal. Obviously Tompkins did used to play for us a very long time ago on loan, so he's not exactly a former Derby County player, but he still played for the club, and he's a player I did have on my shortlist. Oh, chance here for Assad. It's gone into the back of the net. Literally, one touch, second touch, goal. Really couldn't do much against that. Benteke with the ball here, just waits for the run. Very much like Chris Martin, he finesses it into that near post. They've tried that quite often, but it has actually paid off now for Assad. The amount of times they try and finesse it with like their right foot into the right post, instead of just going for the further post. We have picked up a couple of injuries in this game as well, to Simon and Thorne on this, right hand side for us and the left hand side for Crystal Palace. So May have to make a few changes at half-time just to keep him safe, but Vidra's here with the chance, just wide. Ball into the back post, it's good header, and it is in the back of the net for Crystal Palace. They are very good in the air, of course, and I think that is Andros Townsend with the head to make it 2-0 in the last 10 minutes, just like the last game I think it is. They scored in the 82nd or 83rd minute in the last game. Not much either, maybe Kerr could have met it before him, but yeah, it's just one of them really. We're trying to commit men forwards. It's very difficult against the 5 at the back. I think that's his 8th. I don't know if it's his 8th or 5th goal this season for Townsend, but as I was saying, you look at how many men are back for Crystal Palace when we attack, it's actually incredible because they've got the 5 and then they've got the 3, I think it is, in the midfield, so finding the chance is really, really difficult. There it is, full time against Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. We had a decent first half, but we really didn't create much in that second half. It was a bit of a shame, of course. In the end, we made more chances than Palace, but we found it very difficult against their 5 at the back. Maxlow got the highest rating for us at left back. He had a lot of work to do, in fairness, but as you can see, basically it would be 10 and then their striker up front, Benteke, so all they had to do is just boot the ball up when they win the ball from us. So it's very good counter-attacking football from them, in fairness, but it's one of them really. 2 injuries we did get in the last game though were Moses Simon and George Thorne. Identical injuries and identical time they're going to be out for, only 5 days, so it is just the next fixture against Leicester City, which is an East Midlands derby. It's kind of good in that way that we had against Forest last season, now we've got Leicester. I know it's not quite as big of a game, but it's still, to have a derby is still quite decent. We have got 3 messages here. One of them's an international management offer. One is a transfer offer for Jacob Butterfield, which I'm going to be accepting straight away for the team that he used to play for as well. That's very interesting to see. And it's a great offer, in fairness. He's only got 6 months left in his contract. He's worth 1.6, but obviously it's going to be less with his contract being running out very early. Hopefully he does accept that, because he's just sat on the bench. I think I played him in the Doncaster game in the Carabao Cup, but other than that, and I'm getting messages like this when I don't play the player, they'll still be saying, oh, thanks boss for keeping me in the squad. Literally haven't played you since that cup game in August. Turns out that Townsend did get player of the month with that goal that he did pick up in the last game against us. Obviously he is on 6 goals, just like Matai Vidra, in fairness, so Vidra could have potentially got player of the month. Wilson at the top though with 8 goals. A player we were actually looking at, Musa, Shaqiri, very pacey players at the top. There's no real technical players, but there is Mata there with 5 goals. But we're about to go into the next game against Leicester. It is an East Midland derby. I think we will give them... Will we give them that blue kit? Yeah, we'll give them the blue kit. There's no... like the shorts are probably better for us in that way. The players are back from injuries. That's good to see that they weren't really effective. But I will actually put Jordan Ibe in. He has grown to a 75 rated player, so that's good to see. Kerr's grown to a 76. And I think that's about it. Maybe there's a few on the bench. I think Ciceretti was a 77 before, maybe. Not 100% sure. Hansen to a 75, that's good to see. Obviously Tom Lawrence coming against his former club. It's a realistic thing that could happen. If we get promoted, Tom Lawrence could very easily be playing against Leicester. But I could see a big Premier League club coming in for him. Looking at the Leicester team then for today's game, they've gone for a 4-4-2. Very interesting team, in fairness. There are some great players in there. Coleman, Benelou, Maguire, Denisov in the defence, obviously Schmeichel in goal. Thomas, Mendy, Ibora and El Shaarawy on the left-hand side. Silimani and Musa, the great big man, small man combination. You got the big man in Silimani and the pacey. Top goal scorer in the league, Musa, I think. Or is he second? Second top goal scorer, Wilson's top. But very interesting that Coleman went to Leicester. I think we did actually play Leicester last season. I want to say in the FA Cup, but it might have been the Carabao Cup in like the 3rd round. A very good team, like 2 great fullbacks, a great winger in El Shaarawy, and really good strike force in them too. It's going to be a really tough game, and as it is a derby, you may see someone get sent off. Now into Martin. Hopefully we can get it back into Vidra, and we have. It's gone through on goal with the shot, and it is in the back of the net from the Czech very early on in the derby, just like he did at the weekend. Not quite as quick, but in terms of like actual time, it's probably around 30 seconds in. We're only 6 minutes game time in, so very early on. For him to get in that nice position, very similar to the position he did score against Forest, of course. Slightly closer, but with that left foot again, finding the back of the net, that bottom right-hand corner, to make it 1-0 against Leicester. A great start to the game. It's what we've missed in these last few games. It's his 7th goal. He's one of the few players that's actually done well. That's why I can't put Ciceretti in yet. We could always give him a go out wide, but Vidra down the middle, doing great work. Oh, nicked it off dunk there. Musa's got the pace, but not quite enough to get past him. Wisdom with a really bad touch, and in the back of the net. Don't know why I tried a fake. It's like a fake shot kind of thing. Don't know why I did that. I really don't get why. Craig Shakespeare there, who has actually been sacked today. But this video will be out, is it tomorrow? Probably tomorrow. So he has been sacked just as I'm making this video. But just on the off-time mark, a little bit of a shame. Mendy obviously playing that Kante role in the middle for them. I don't know what I was doing. I don't know why I just didn't clear it. Did well with Kerr to win it, and then I don't get why I did that. Carson maybe could have done a little bit better. He like tucked his arms in when he could have pulled them out and potentially made the save. But 1-1. Have to get back into this game now. Now it's Jordan. I've turned well against Denisov. Through for Vidra. It's gone his Schmeichel's hands. Chance here for Leicester. Only 10 minutes to go, so we definitely don't want to concede. Now it's into Musa. I wasn't sure if he was offside or not. Doesn't look like he is. And it's been since the 60th minute. The ball hasn't gone out of play. And it's the 83rd minute again. That's crazy. We conceded in the 83rd in the last game. Then in the first game. I don't know. Maybe Carson maybe could have done better. I don't know what Kerr's doing there. Maybe I need to chuck someone else in. But it's really annoying that we couldn't get our substitutions on. And we've potentially lost the game because of that. Just because the game not letting the ball go out of play yet. Chance here for Soleimani, and it is in the back of the net. It's incredible how clinical the AR are now, but it's realistic. Like, Leicester are a very good team, former Premier League champions, of course. Soleimani, literally out of nothing, just taps it in the bottom right-hand corner. I think it's probably about time to give Blake a go. I think Carson's just slightly too slow in this Premier League. And there's full time against our local rivals, Leicester. We have lost the game. It's a bit of a shame because we haven't actually beaten our derby games yet. Obviously, Vidra kicked it off nicely. But Schmeichel's a big factor why that they won the game. Also, Musa up front, just incredible. That goal in half-time completely changed the game. I think my human error basically lost us that game. Me, for some reason, doing a fake shot, but they probably did deserve it. They had 13 shots. We only had 6. We have got a transfer offer here from Bournemouth for Ben Brereton. So as his value is between 7 and 10 million, well, it's 10.7, and they put an offer of 10 in, I think it's worth just accepting. That's the kind of money I wanted at the start of the season, and he's literally just sat on the bench, so he's gone up in value. So we're going to accept that offer. Hopefully it goes through. Obviously Butterfield we did accept for 1.2 million as well. We'll have to wait and see. But as you can see by the table, we're only 2 points off the relegation zone now. It kind of just show a matter of a few games, but if we do win, we're straight back up to the middle. So swings and roundabouts, of course. So there we go. Brereton has been sold. That really did work out very quickly. Now, unfortunately, because we put I think it was 15% sell-on clause, we would have probably got 8 mil. 1.2 of that has had to go to Forest, so in theory we had to pay an overall fee of 2 million for Brereton, and we've made profit of 6.8, so the profit margin of 4.8, but still, we made a good amount of money for a player that we really didn't play much. And unfortunately, Butterfield's gone, you know what, I'm not going to go to a decent team, a very good team in Middlesbrough. Instead, I'm going to just sit on the bench and deteriorate. So unfortunately, Butterfield isn't moving, but we have got the game against Burnley to finish off this episode. It's going to be a very tough one, obviously, at Turf Moor. They are currently second in the league. They've only lost 2 games all season long, so it's going to be a tough one. Be interested to see if Jeff Hendrick's in the lineup. Let's have a look. Here's Burnley lineup for them for today's game. They've gone for a 4-2-3-1 as well, just like us. I'd be interested to see, because most of the teams we've played today have played different systems, and therefore they've probably outdone us. They've got Rico, Toravsky, Kevin Long, and Ikoko. I don't know who that guy is at right back. Tommy in goal, Jeff Hendrick against his former club, Jack Hawke, Albrighton, Defoe, and Goodmanson, and Ashley Barnes up front. Very good team. Like, Burnley, a lot of people predicted Burnley to go down at the start of the season, and as you can see, they've done really well in real life so far. Sean Dyche, definitely a very good manager, and defensively they're going to be great. Wisdom now with the ball in the back post. It's into Lawrence with the header. Good save by Heaton though. Wasn't the best of headers in the world, but still very well placed. And a good save from the keeper. Chance here for Burnley into Barnes with the shot. What is Carson doing there? he's really, I don't know, really hasn't done well. Could have very easily saved that, I think. And he just kind of made it a little bit too easy for Barnes. Makes it 1-0 in the 38th minute. And that's if you just show me, I'll just show you now. The match facts. That's Burnley's first chance. We've had a couple of decent chances. Burnley go on one attack and they get the goal. Ooh, Barnes has just taken out Kerr there. He's gone down injured. Don't know if we'll have to make the sub or not. Probably will. And we have. We've had to make the sub. It's a really bad tackle from Barnes. I'm surprised the ref didn't actually give us a free kick or anything. It does look pretty bad. So, looks like Rawson's going to have to come on. We had Keogh on the bench from the start of the season. The second we get one of our centre-backs injured, and it's the pacey side one. Now we've got two slowish centre-backs. They've not exactly got about 50 pace each. Might be a problem, but they are playing Ashley Barnes up front, so as long as they bring Naki Wells off the bench, we should be all good. But as you can see, Carroll won the ball, and then it was a really bad tackle from Barnes. Oh, it's gone into the middle. And what's the keeper doing? He's literally just stood there, and Defoe has put it back past him to make it 2-0. Burnley are actually second in the league. I don't know if I said at the start of this game or not, but they've only lost 2 games so far. So we have had a pretty tough episode, in fairness. Like, we had the Derby game. That's going to be a really tough game, of course. Crystal Palace, they're like 3rd in the table. We're also missing the header, and across to Defoe. I think it is time to give Blake a go, because Carson just, obviously, with his poor reactions, just literally did nothing. At least Blake has got like 81, 82 reactions. Ball through for Brady. Come off the bench, and he has found the back of the net. It is 3-0 to Burnley. They are very good. They are very good. There's no doubt about it. Passing play here. Poor tackle from Dunk, and it's a great ball in fairness, and it's in the near post. But I think it's time for Blake to get a chance. Carson just not good enough in this episode. It's not like we've not been that creative in fairness, but we did get the goal against Leicester, of course. It's just a matter of the teams that we have played are better than us. It's as simple as that. Robbie Brady here bringing it forwards. Definitely don't want to make it 4. It's gone into Wisdom. It's not quite cleared it. Good save though by Carson off the line. There it is, full time against Burnley. 3-0, our biggest loss of this season. Obviously last season we lost 4-1 against Reading. 5 shots for them, 4 shots for us. They were very clinical. They are obviously a very good counter-attacking team. They put the 2 banks of 4 back, and then they've got the 2 strikers they just punt it up to. And that's how they won the game. So it is a really bad injury to carry. It is going to be 7 months out with cruciate ligament damage. Such a shame at such a young player. But it's realistic. We haven't had a big injury. Like, we had the 5 injury for Thorne at the start of this episode. But other than that, try and think of an injury we've had. I think Vidra was out for a couple of months last season. But we really haven't had many injuries. So it is a bit of a problem who we put in. I think we will put Keogh in for now. So I think on that note, we are going to end off this episode here. I will do the training in between the 2 episodes. But as you can see by the table, we are just above the relegation zone by 2 points. So we definitely do need to pick up some points in the next episode. But we are kicking it off with the game against Leeds, who are bottom of the table by 6 points. So as long as we beat them, we'll go back up to like 13th, 14th. So that's the kind of area I want us. I don't want us towards the top of the table. So I definitely want to have a bit of a challenge this season. It's not like we've, I don't know, we played against Burnley, they're 2nd in the table. Played against Leicester, that's a derby. Pretty much a 2-1 game. Crystal Palace, they're 3rd in the table. And West Ham, I'm not 100% sure, I think they're just above us, but that's pretty fair. Like, I'm not feeling like the sliders are too good. I feel like we can actually beat these sliders. Now we've changed them to realistic ones. I changed it before the Chelsea game in the last episode, so since then we've got a couple of points. That's about fair. That's what a newly promoted team out of 6 games, when some of those games were the top 4, probably do deserve. Burnley are top of the table now with that win. It's crazy, that top like 6. Obviously it will change. There's only 14 games gone so far in this season. It seems like Spurs just above us. Like, realistically, would that be happening? Probably not, but hopefully you guys did enjoy this episode anyway. Obviously not the best result-wise. We lost all 4 games. But yeah, leave a like if you did enjoy, and see you soon. Bye.